What's going on? What's going on, team? Welcome back to another week. Welcome back to another weekly stock talk. My name is Xander with Facer Trading Academy. What we'll be doing in this video is we'll be talking about the S&P 500, which is SPY. We'll also be talking about the NASDAQ, which is /NQ. We'll be seeing where they are at with the technical setup and what this means for the future of this week and the recovery or the potential continuation of the sell-off. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is we're going to also take a look at approximately 25 to 28 opportunities that are being presented, 25 to 28 stocks that are being presented as great buys, potential buys, if the market does begin to recover after this pullback that we ended up seeing in the last week. So let's go ahead and take a dive into SPY. We're taking a look at the chart right here. Let's go ahead and zoom out to kind of show you what we're looking at in the big picture. So ever since basically November, we've been following this trend since November, back in November 16th of last year, and we've been trading in this channel since then. We ended up seeing multiple pullbacks. We saw one back here in May, and then we saw one in May again, and then we ended up seeing one in June, and now we are seeing the same type of pullback here in July. We ended up pulling back down to the bottom of this channel, the bottom of this trend line, that has been acting as a support over the last few months, over the last half a year. So we ended up pulling back down to this channel. We ended up bouncing as we have done before. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to bounce back and recover as we have before. However, based on historic patterns, we have seen that we have recovered after we touched this trend line and ended up recovering to the upside. So that is something to be expected, right? Not required, but that's what we're expecting, right? If it was to continue to sell off, we can potentially see a break of this trend line. If we do see a break of this trend line, that is going to be when we're going to begin to worry about a potentially bigger market correction that we haven't seen yet in like the last 6 months. So as of right now, looking at the RSI, we're seeing that we're very, very oversold. Today it helped a bit, and then we ended up bouncing back up, and we're starting a little bit of a pullback. So in after hours between the close of today and the open of tomorrow morning, we are starting to pull back a little bit, but really we're going to see more of what's going to happen tomorrow morning, right? If we're going to start seeing a lot of positive volume coming in, a lot of bullish volume coming in, we're going to potentially see a continuation of this recovery back to that 437 level. We've seen this before, and you know, it's only all we can do is chart it out and see where it's going to land us, right? We can't predict where it's going to go, but we can see based on historic patterns what has happened before, right? The issue was with the sell-off is inflation was becoming a really hot topic as to, you know, is it starting to kick in? Are the interest rates going to go up? What's going to be happening with the market, right? We ended up seeing that, you know, the monetary policy hasn't really changed. And as the Fed chair said, you know, he's not really making any changes as of right now. That doesn't mean he's not going to, maybe in a few weeks or in a few months, who knows? But as of right now, that's not happening, right? And so that is a bit of a relief, but you know, there's obviously fear in the market, right? Because we have seen this pullback happen. So as of right now, you know, that's what we're expecting. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We're going to have to take it day by day. You know, it's going to be a little bit turbulent moving forward, so be prepared for that. But you know, all we can do is do the technicals, analyze the situation, and make the best decisions that we can. So MACD's also, you know, beginning to look very similar to what we've seen before multiple times, and so we ended up seeing a recovery. So let's see what happens tomorrow. If we start seeing a push, all of these opportunities that we're going to be talking about are going to be very, very great picks. We saw a lot of green volume and a lot of green action in all of these stocks. Just today, the team has received these watch list stocks today. So if you guys aren't part of the team, shoot me a DM at the bottom of the comments, or hit me up on Instagram. You guys can find my Instagram linked down below. And if you guys find value in these videos, if you find value in the fact that you're getting these opportunities, you're getting these breakdowns, make sure to reach out and we can go and talk about how you can potentially join the academy and learn just the same, right? So let's go ahead and talk about this. We talked about SPY already. We're starting to see a bounce off of this level and a recovery. Taking a look at /NQ. Very, very similar setup. We did break below this channel here that we were trading in for basically the last month approximately. We traded in this channel, we broke below it. However, we found support here on the SMA line, right? This green SMA line. We ended up dropping down, bounced on this SMA line. So that's also looking fairly positive. However, you know, this is also starting to curl down a little bit on the RSI to the downside, similar to what we saw on the SPY, right? On SPY. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. This week is really going to be, I would say, a critical week to see as to, you know, are we going to continue to recover and continue to push and make higher highs in the market, or are we potentially going to break down and start heading to the downside? So all we can do is take it day by day. However, you know, as I said before, from the watch list that the team received on Sunday night, they've seen a lot of green days and a lot of green action taking place in all of these stocks. I still believe that with, you know, the way the market's set up right now, if we follow the historic patterns of recovery after such a pullback to these levels, we can see a lot more green in these particular stocks moving forward throughout the week and maybe potentially into next week as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the first stock that we're going to take a look at. That's going to be Apple, AAPL. Ended up pulling back. We dropped down, didn't quite make it down to this support here. However, we are starting to see a bounce potentially taking place here on the RSI and the MACD, starting to see a change of color, starting to head up to the upside. We saw a little bit of a half green day or a half red day, and then half the day was green. We're still pushing up in the after hours. And, you know, from current price points to historic or previous highs, the 150 high, we're looking at about 5% profit potential here on Apple. Apple is a very strong company, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue pushing to higher highs, right? We also have earnings coming up here in a few days, so be aware of that if we do end up pushing up, we might see a little bit of a price difference happening here on the 27th of this month. So keep that in mind. Apple is the first one that we're taking a look at. The next one is going to be the two bank stocks that we've been focusing on is BAC. This is Bank of America. We ended up, you know, if we're taking a look at the big picture, we've just seen consistent uptrend patterns. We ended up pulling back here once, bounced at this level again, and then with this recent market sell-off, we saw a little bit more of a pull down to the downside. However, RSI, MACD, we're looking like we're starting a recovery. If the market continues to push up, this will definitely continue to push up as well. From current price points to 43.50, the recent highs, we're looking at about 17.8% profit potential. This is absolutely insane, considering that the trend has been very, very bullish on this stock. So this pullback is presenting a very good opportunity if you see value in it. Another one that we're going to be taking a look at is BK. This is another one on the watch list, very similar to the previous stock. It's also a bank stock. This is Bank of New York. It didn't drop quite as much. However, the opportunity is still there from current price points to 53.22, which is the recent highs. We're looking at about 10.82%. Very great setup. We are not quite in the oversold territory as we are with BAC. So BAC might be a little bit more primed for a recovery than this one. However, nevertheless, they both are going to move very similarly. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is AMD. Very, very strong push today. We were oversold going into this week. And then we ended up seeing a nice push up to the upside pretty much all day today. We saw a nice push of about 3.12%. And from current price points to the all-time highs that we were at, we're looking at about another 7.6% with AMD. So this one has plenty of room to run here on the RSI. MACD looks like we're just starting to go into a reversal. If the market really has that bullish sentiment going forward, we're going to definitely see more upside on this particular opportunity as well. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be XOM. This one also had a very, very bullish pattern here going, pretty much uptrending the entire time, holding above this SMA line. And then we ended up seeing this pullback here with the market. Very, very oversold on the RSI, very, very dropped here on the MACD and starting to reverse to the upside. So from current price points to all-time highs, we're looking at about 13.92%. So these pullbacks, while they are a little scary for some people, they are presenting very, very good opportunities. for the rest of us here that are paying attention. The next one that we're taking a look at is PLTR. I mean, all of these are really going to be set up fairly similarly. Everything pulled back when the market was pulling back. So the setups and the opportunities are, they're just different this week than they were last week. And, the market's always changing, but we don't always see a pullback this large, right? I mean, we saw it a month ago, we saw it 2 months ago, but it usually happens like once a month. And it's been kind of doing that for the last 6 months. So, this is one of those opportunities once in this month that you can grab these stocks at a great deal if we don't see a break of that SPY trend line at the bottom. We'll see what happens throughout the week. However, based on previous patterns, we can expect these things to begin to recover. From current price points here on PLTR to all-time recent highs, not even all-time highs, we're looking at about 20% on this one. And obviously oversold here on the RSI, pushing up to the upside. MACD is looking good as well. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be NVDA. This is going to be similar to AMD. Very similar setup with this one as well. It's taking a little bit to load. However, we are going to pull it up. NVDA. Let's try ORCL. There we go. ORCL works a little quicker. I don't know what's going on with NVDA. Let's try NVDA again. This thing just does not want to load. Anyways, NVDA is also another opportunity that we're paying attention to. I'm going to just let it load and pull up. I don't know why it's taking so long. The other one ended up pulling up much quicker. Let's go back to that. Let's go ahead and take a look at ORCL while that loads. ORCL didn't actually have as much of a pullback with the market as the rest of the stocks did. Now it decides to turn on. Okay, back to NVDA, actually. We'll go back to Oracle later. So NVDA, this thing is just jumping around. Okay, we're back at NVDA and Oracle. Let's go to NVDA. There we go. Let's take it step by step. Ended up NVDA pulled back similar to AMD, pulled back just as every other one pulled back. Ended up finding support here near this SMA line. We broke a little bit, faked out below it a little bit, and we're starting to push up to the upside. There is a 4-to-1 split coming up. So if we have bullish sentiment in the market and this starts pushing up with the 4-to-1 split, we're going to be able to push up even higher. This is going to split 4 ways. So this is going to be very, very affordable. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this push up all the way up to 836. It wouldn't be 836 after the split. However, that margin would definitely potentially be there. It's going to be, approximately 10% is what we're looking at right now. So if it becomes cheaper, a lot of people start coming in and buying it. Market's pushing up to the upside. This can push for sure at least 10% in my opinion. So watch out for this one. Make sure this one's something that you see value in before you jump into it, because at these price points at 751 to 836, you really should put some thought into that. The next one is Oracle, ORCL. So like I was saying about this one didn't end up pulling back as much with the market pulling back. So it has been very, very stable. The pattern has been, the trend has been very, very stable as well over the last 6 months. We've been pretty much trending here above the SMA line consistently. We've had our little dips, but we continuously recover. And here with the market pulling back and us holding this price value, it's really reassuring to see that, this is pushing up higher and higher. We ended up pulling back a little bit with the RSI and the MACD. So if the market begins to push up, I can see this definitely heading higher than 88.55 or 88.85. I do not have a price target on this one, but, expecting at least probably to break 90 to maybe 92 on this. However, definitely bullish on this one for sure. The next one that we're watching here is Dkng. This one too pulled back with the market as the market pulled back, found support here at this support level. And we ended up pushing up today already 6%. So from current price points to recent highs before we ended up selling off, that would probably hit us right at this resistance level. That's another 6% on this one. Plenty of room to run here on the RSI. MACD is looking very, very good. And, you know, DraftKings is a very strong company. If we end up recovering all the way up to 74 level, that's a 38% recovery. So something to pay attention to. I'd probably manage my risk here on this one at 39.7, possibly here at the support that we ended up holding at 41.89. So that's what I'd be paying attention to with DKNG. The next one is going to be Facebook. This one, very, very strong company. Really, really like this one. Similar to Apple, right? Strong company, strong trend over the last 6 months. And with this market pullback, obviously this is going to pull back as well. But this is just giving us a better opportunity to jump into this. We're oversold here going into the week. Ended up making a nice bounce today. Let's go ahead and see how much we ended up recovering in today's open session. 4 hours. Go ahead and zoom in on this. Didn't have a super strong recovery. However, it is still nevertheless a recovery, and it was approximately 1%, 1.1%. However, we're not really too worried about that because, you know, it's a strong company. It's not going to move as quickly as some of the smaller companies. So from current price points to recent highs where we were at, we're looking at another 5%. So if you guys were trying to get into Facebook, but it was a little expensive here at 358, now would probably be the time if you want to ride this recovery back up to the upside if the market begins to recover. The next one is going to be the ARK ETF. This one obviously pulled back along with everything else that pulled back. We ended up seeing a nice pullback this last week, and we saw a huge move here today as the market began to recover in halfway through the day, but this has been pushing all day. We saw a 4.8% profit, or a 4.8% profit potential that took place today. And from current price points to that next resistance, we're looking at another 12%. So if you were trying to get into ARK, this would be the time for sure as well. To recent highs, we're looking about 9%, 10%. Yeah. 9-10% on this one. Plenty of room on the RSI, MACD. Very similar setups on most of these. It's just because of the market pulling back, and these recoveries are going to happen. It's going to take a little bit of time, maybe a week or so. If the market does begin to recover, these stocks will continue to recover as well. Here, we're also MGM seeing a huge, consistent, strong push to the upside over the last 6 months. And then we ended up seeing this pullback here with the market pulling back. So from current price points to recent highs, not even 45, we're going to look a little bit lower. That's 19%, 16 to 19% profit potential. And we're not even, you know, we haven't even taken off here on the RSI. So we have plenty of room to run on the RSI, MACD, same thing. So, you know, this one is, you know, one that I really like for sure. Very consistent. Something I would definitely be trading in this week. So the next one I'm going to be looking is PINS, PINS. That's Pinterest. This one had a very strong, solid push today as well. We saw a nice 8% move today on Pinterest. And from current price points, I see this recovering to recent highs for that's another 13%. And we do have that room to run on the RSI for that to happen. So that's what I'm going to be looking at with Pinterest. Another great stock. It's been doing very well. It does very well after these little drops and the recoveries. So it does end up pushing higher. So I would not be surprised to see this push higher as well. Similar to MGM, we're looking at RCL here. This one saw a nice push to the upside as well here with a move of 4.28% just today. We saw pretty much bullish action on this one all day, and we're just getting started. So from current price points to that next resistance, we're looking at another 11%. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that recover 11%. We're looking to recent highs back here in, you know, not even like, I think it was about a week or two ago. A recovery to that point would probably be 28%, right? So RCL, definitely a great snag if this market begins to recover and you want in on the cruise industry. This one here, PTON, PTON, Peloton, ended up pushing, let's measure this out. We pushed 11%, 11.52% today on Peloton. And I would say we have some room to run here until we hit resistance, which is another 6.2%. We do have some room here on the RSI, so it would line up very perfectly with this resistance level. So I would say 6% is what to expect on this one. If we recover to this level here at the recent highs, we ended up bouncing here on the SMA line. MACD is looking good as well. So this one's another pick for us on our watch list this week. The next one is Amazon, similar to Apple and what was the other one? Apple and Facebook. Amazon's kind of on that same list with them. Very strong company, very big company. So the pullback here that we've seen ended up seeing a nice recovery here today with a 1.3%. Like I said, they're not quick recoveries here on the big companies. However, if we recover to, new market highs or recent market highs, we're going to see a 6.54% recovery here on this one. MACD is looking good. RSI is looking good. Change of color. If we really have this reversal, this is going to be a great snag here on Amazon. Another one is DBX. DBX here is Dropbox. DBX. Dropbox, not huge. However, the setup is definitely there. Very oversold with this market. So from current price point to recent highs, we're looking about 5.72%. Dropbox is more of a lot of people are looking at this for a longer term investment. So if you wanted to get in on Dropbox for a longer term investment, not so much a trade, a pullback like this would probably be very good. Considering that as of the last few weeks and months, this is about as low as we've been since basically last month, the end of last month or mid last month. So, that's an opportunity here. We've got another one. MACD is looking good. RSI starting to reverse to the upside. If we're measuring from current price points, I think we already did this, but let's double check it. We're looking about 4.32%, probably around, I think it was 5%. Just so zoomed out. 4.59%. Let's even say 4.59%. Regardless, an opportunity is an opportunity. Looks like we're finding support here on the SMA. And if you've noticed, most of these stocks, the SPY has aligned with that bottom trend line, right? And most of these stocks are aligning here with either a support level or an SMA level, right? Simple moving average level. And usually they're finding bounces on these levels. And usually that really shows strength in the market or strength at those levels for a recovery. Not predicting anything, however, just saying following, historic patterns, we've seen this before and it usually indicates a reversal. But we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Just these are stocks that you should be paying attention to throughout this week as this recovery happens. That way you can get some of the best opportunities and snag them up for great deals. So the next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be FAST. FAST. This one's kind of been consistent, nothing too crazy. However, we are starting to see like we might potentially go into here at 55.19 again, 2.29%, nothing crazy. This one just ended up popping up on our watch list, so we ended up adding it. We do have some run. I wouldn't say this is probably the best one out of all of these, but this is just one to definitely pay attention to. We did have earnings and we did see a little bit of a pullback, but we ended up seeing support here on the SMA line. So this might be a great stock because usually we'll see a bigger push down to the downside on earnings. We had great earnings on this. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see this heading, to higher highs, at least, 54 or so. This, the next one that we're going to be paying attention to is going to be WYNN, WYNN. Same thing, very oversold. MACD is looking good. We started seeing a recovery here. We saw approximately 6% today. And if we recover to pre-market sell-off levels, we're looking at about, 19%. So this is a very good opportunity. The next one that we're going to look at is APPS. This one here also pulled back with the market as the market was pulling back all of last week, ended up pushing up approximately 8% today. And then we still have some room to run on the RSI, and the MACD is looking fairly good. I would say, expect our SMA to be a potential resistance. That's probably another 8% up till this SMA. If we return to recent highs, that's going to be another 19%, right? So just pay attention to those. We do have a support level down here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this potentially drop a little bit if the market begins to sell off. So the downside here, we're looking at about 8% downside. So pay attention to that. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be TEN. Very similar, pulled back with the market pulling back, ended up not ideally bouncing here on the SMA level, but near this level. And I believe if we do see more continuation of the market recovering, I should expect, or I would expect this to recover as well. So to recent highs, we're looking about 29% recovery. Lots of stocks pulled back huge, so they're presenting very, very good opportunities. Zoom, it was another one that we added to our watch list here. Pulled back, became very, very oversold. MACD is looking very good, and it looks like we're going into a reversal. So if the market continues to push higher, we'll see this recover as well. I would expect this to hit approximately 399, potentially 400, 11%. You know, that's also another great opportunity. The next one is going to be GPRO. GoPro had a nice push today. We ended up seeing a 6% push to the upside, and I would be targeting this level here at 1232 to be a potential resistance. So $21. The first level obviously being down here at 1079. However, if the market starts pushing up, we break through this SMA level, we're looking at about 22%. Great opportunity. If you like GoPro as a company, you know, and you wanted to snag this up for a great deal, this would be the price point to do it at, in my opinion. The next one's going to be Z for Zillow. This one pulled back, ended up bouncing here on this support level. Bouncing at this support level, we ended up seeing a 4% move today. I would be watching this next level of the SMA line, which aligns with the volume profile level here. And that would be a move of approximately 8.6%. And then after that, after breaking the SMA, we'd be looking at another 11% here on Zillow. It has been selling off for some time. So you're probably getting one of the best deals you're going to get on Zillow here since basically of November of last year. That's the price point that we're at here. We've seen a recovery to this level before, so this would probably be a very strong level to potentially consider, you know, snagging up some Zillow if you're interested and you believe in the company, you see value in the company. The next one's going to be WWE. This one here pushed strongly down. We have seen a very consistent uptrend holding above the SMA line for a very long time, pushed up to 70. And ever since then, we've been pushing down to the downside, basically after dividends. We have earnings coming up, so just be aware that's coming up on the 29th at the end of the month. However, if the market begins to recover, I wouldn't be surprised to see this recover up to this SMA line here. And that's about 17%, which is a huge profit potential that that you can expect to see if the market does recover. We're looking like we're very oversold here on the RSI, and the MACD is looking like it might be going into a reversal. We saw some green here on the day, not too much. However, you know, we saw, I believe it was approximately 1.6%, not bad. However, with the profit potential that we can expect to see up until the SMA line, 15%, you know, I would definitely be paying attention to this one and will be paying attention to this one going forward throughout this week and into next week as well. The next one that we're going to be looking at is going to be CRSP. This is CRISPR Therapeutics. Huge pullback. We ended up pulling back down here to the SMA line. We are very oversold, and we do have earnings coming up on the 27th. So be aware of that. You know, we see the 50 MA heading to the downside. So if we do end up seeing the 200 and the 50 crossing, that's not going to be good news. However, one to keep on your radar. I wouldn't say this is probably the ideal one. However, we've seen highs of 221 before, and we're at 125, which is a fairly good deal. We'll see. The next level of support that I see down here is going to be down at this is 108, 109. So that's going to be that next level of support that I'm going to be paying attention to. And at the very bottom, we're looking at 92, 93. So if the market does sell off, I would expect it to go to these two levels. If it does rebound, I would expect this to, you know, we have recent highs here of 24%. So that's the profit potential, and you have a risk of, you know, as of right now, measuring to that support level of 12%. So you have a 1 to 2 ratio of risk to reward ratio here. So, you know, you be the judge. Is this a company that you're interested in and see value in, or, you know, do you want to stay a little bit more patient when we see this break of the EMA? The next level, or the next stock that we're going to be paying attention to, is JBL. This is one that I really like as well. Very strong uptrend pattern over the last 6 months, holding above the SMA line, ended up pushing down here with the market as the market pulled down. Very, very oversold on the RSI, beginning a reversal here on the MACD. And from current price points to recent, not even recent highs, but pre-market drop highs, we're looking at 8.4%. With the stability and the pattern that we've seen historically, I really, really like this one. So this is one that I'm paying attention to and very excited for. And the last one is going to be BIG. This is going to be the last one. Ended up pulling back. We ended up seeing some recovery today, and we're just getting started here on the RSI and the MACD. From current price points to the SMA line, we're looking at 11.56%. We have gotten rejected here at the SMA line before, so that's why we're measuring it up to the SMA line. And so 11.4, 11.9% is not a bad profit potential. So once again, guys, if you guys found any value in this video, make sure to smash that like button, share this video with a friend. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We do this every single week, and I'll see you guys on next week's Stock Talk video.